everybody. Welcome to Inside AWAI, Real Copywriters, Real Strategies, Real Success. I'm thrilled to have as my very special guest the wildly popular, loved mentor and coach, Lisa CHRISTOFFEL. Hey, Lisa, how are
Hey,
you?
Katie, I'm good. How are you guys?
Good. Oh, I think this is the perfect time to really dig in and hear from you, an experienced coach, an experienced mentor, an experienced B2B pro working today, guiding and helping companies succeed in this current crazy world of ours. I think it's so important to have this conversation, and let's just get right into it. Part of what makes you such an amazing copywriter and marketer is the way that you coach and the way that the business strategies that you really hone in on with your clients and the writers that you mentor. So let's just start right with that, and then we'll backtrack into how we got there.
Sure, sure. So I think a lot of the success I've had in mentoring is doing what everybody else did, right? I had a different job. I transitioned into copywriting from something that I was expert in. And when
Yes.
you were an expert in something else and you are learning something new, all of your little monsters, your voices, they keep popping up. I'm an imposter. I don't know what I'm doing. How could I ever compete with somebody who's been doing this for 20 years or 30 years or whatever? And so it's easy for me to connect to new writers and say, I've been there. I know what you're thinking and feeling. And then here's how we move past that, right? Here's how we connect
Right.
all the stuff you've done in your past
Right.
to where you're going now. Because I had to do it myself, right? I had to basically say, I know I was an IT manager and a project manager and operations manager. What does that have to do with writing? Well, I had to persuade my management team every single year to give me money to spend on supporting all of the stuff, right?
Direct response 101.
Absolutely 100%. But would I have ever thought of that when I was
Right.
getting started? So, when I talk to members and when I coach members and mentor them, I have that sort of lived experience of saying, well, I can't do that. I've been doing this. And basically the bottom line is everybody's got experience of one
Yes.
kind or another in in some piece of being a freelance copywriter. And so when you connect those and then you help them move forward from there, then people don't feel like they're starting from scratch.
I love that. That is gives you such a boost. So let's talk about what you're doing now. I know you're a coach, a mentor. You are the executive editor for B2B business writing success, B2B writing success, and you have your own business. So let's start with, tell me about your business. What type of projects are you working on? What type of clients do you work with?
Yeah.
What's like a week or a month like in that world?
Yeah, well, it varies a lot, right? So I'm a marketing strategist and a business coach primarily,
Mhm.
but I'm also a hypnotherapist and I do habits coaching and everything because most of my clients are people who are looking to stretch themselves beyond their current
Where they are now.
circumstances or situation, right? And sometimes it's easy enough to just say all they need is clarity, and that's where the coaching helps. But sometimes they need to break patterns or they need to rewrite old stories they have in their heads. And that's where the hypnotherapy comes in. That's where sometimes habit work or even like EFT tapping,
Right.
that kind of stuff comes in. So a typical day for me could be, and I also write, I have a Substack newsletter. I write for myself. And I write, I do branding work with my clients as well sometimes. So, helping them hone their message and figure out exactly, who they're supporting, how it connects with who they are and everything. So I do a lot of branding work now.
Sure. Great.
So my day might be, a couple of business clients. I might be talking to them about pricing strategy and branding and all that sort of thing. And then I might have a hypnotherapy client. And then I might be writing for myself. So, I meet with people almost every day. For in one way, shape, or form. Most of it's live, like Zoom stuff, but occasionally I have some local clients too. So sometimes I'm going to somebody's business and working with them, but it varies day to day, and that's what I actually really love.
That's what you love about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how did you get from being an IT person to where you are now? What was the first inspiration? What was the first where you got that, like, yes, I'm a copywriter. Yes, I can get paid for this moment, to where you are now?
So you know him well. It's Mark Ford, right?
Yes.
I was getting the Palm Beach newsletter, I believe it was called at the time. I don't even know if that still exists anymore. But there was a section Mark had in that letter that was like side hustles. And one of the side hustles that he talked about was copywriting. And so I clicked on the little link and I read all about it. And I was like, oh, I can write. I write all the time. I write every day. I write emails, like a dozen emails a day and everything. So I clicked on that. I found at the time it was the 6-figure accelerated program. And I started working on that and I really enjoyed it. So then I signed up for the web intensive, which still to this day remains my very, very favorite event you guys ever had.
Those were amazing events. Yes. And really launched so many careers. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So that's kind of how I got started. And the more I learned about copywriting, the more I said, I really love this. Like I really love, even though I don't use anymore after 10 years, like copywriting so much, like I don't like go out and get hired for copywriting projects anymore.
Right.
I still use absolutely everything I learned from AWAI and all the copy classes I've taken to supplement and boost the business support I'm able to give my clients.
Absolutely.
The branding and the messaging and the marketing strategy, all of that comes from.
I stand by that 100%. No matter how you use the fundamentals that we teach, the fundamentals of sound copywriting, of sound persuasion, they will impact your life positively in every single communication you have, interaction you have. It makes you think differently. It makes you able to connect to people on a different way. And that's living proof. You're living proof of that. That's fantastic. So Lisa, did you just one day say, tearing the Band-Aid off, I'm going to stop doing the IT stuff and I'm going to do this? Or was it more of a, you grew your business before you actually?
So yes and yes. It's an interesting little. So right after I learned how to started learning copywriting, I was working for Kodak, and my organization went through a massive downsizing. They basically cut all the leadership team, which I was a part of. So I got laid off. And I said to my husband, can I do this? Can I try to start this copywriting business and stuff? But at that point, I had been working like a global job, 70, 80 hours a week and everything. So I really leaned into learning copywriting, but I didn't lean into building my business.
Okay.
So
That's probably
when
not what you would be meant coaching your men.
100% not, right? Absolutely not. But I was burnt out and I didn't
Yeah.
recognize it, right? Um, so about 8 months after I got laid off, I got a call from Kodak and they said, "Hey, we need you to just come back on contract, just part time. We need to have your help with this other thing." And at the time, I was only making like little, I was getting a little copyrighted client here, a
Hmm.
little one there. I hadn't really solidified my B2B direction. Actually, I did that right about the same time as Kodak
Yeah.
contacted me again. So I had literally just started getting some momentum in my copywriting when they came and contacted me and said, "Can you come back on contract?" And I had two sons in college, another son who was getting ready to go into college. So I said, "Yeah, I'll come back on contract." And then a couple months later, they asked me to come back full time. And I said, "I will, but I'm still building my business on the side. I
Great.
need, I needed the income for the college tuition, but I didn't want to give up my business." So at that point, I was building my copy business on the side of a full
Gotcha.
time job. And it took about, I'm trying to think, about 3 years of building it on the side. And then COVID hit.
Hmm.
And I went 50% at Kodak. I was furloughed every other week. And that's when I was really able to really lean
Build some
into
momentum.
and build some momentum and everything. So I kind of did it in a really wonky, weird way that I would not recommend to people. But on the other hand, Katie, what I say to people is that's taught me that your path is your path, right? And just because somebody else gets a six-figure copywriting business within 3 months of starting learning versus
That's very
you
unrealistic.
taking, yeah, like there's I have met people who've done it, but it is not
No,
the
no.
norm. So I think the norm is whatever you can do to move your business forward in the time
Sure.
that you have available. I coach people sometimes who have 5 hours a week. Well, you're not building a huge business in 5 hours a week. It's going to take time,
Right.
right?
But
So
you're building something. You're
you're
doing
building
something.
something. You're building it every step, right?
Yeah. And I mean, you really had the best of both worlds. I'm sure it was challenging because are so many hours in the day, but you did have that security of your job
I
while
did.
you were able to build.
I
So
did, and that for me, as a scaredy cat, kind of, what does Mark call it, a chicken entrepreneur? For
right.
me, that was perfect, right? Somebody else, they might need actually to remove the net in order to
Yeah.
make themselves move forward.
Yeah.
It,
But it's all about that forward momentum.
yeah.
Lisa, what is something that is surprising to you about your new life? You know, go
Mm.
back like 10 years when you think about yourself and now when you think about yourself today, what is like, wow, this is really a surprise. This is not what I thought it would be. This is not
Yeah.
what I expected.
Yeah. So, I did really love the concept of, your bare feet in the sand, kind of working freedom kind of thing. The reality is, I never had anything like that. However, this year, as you know, has been challenging, right? We've had like some
Yeah.
things happen here. And what really surprised me is that having built the foundation of my business, I was able to keep it going even though I had to take a lot more time off this year than I expected. I had to deal with things that I was not expecting to
Sure.
have to deal with and everything, but I was still able to keep my clients and keep my business going. I didn't grow it like I wanted to, but I didn't. Had I had a paycheck job when all of this was going on,
Right.
it's possible I might have lost my job,
Right.
right, with everything that's gone on. So for me, it kind of maybe not surprised me, but reinforced
Yes.
why having my own business was best for me in my current situation.
Yeah. I love that. And again, it does show itself. Um, in ways like that, when life hits us with surprises, when things aren't exactly as we thought they would go, but you still have this nut,
Yeah.
this foundation of a business to help you, support you, and that can bend and be flexible along with you. That, I
Right.
think that's what's so
Right. You can kind of scale it back when you need to,
exactly,
scale it
throttle
up
it when
when
you
you
need
need
to,
to. Yes.
and
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, it can be very forgiving that way, as well as when you're ready to ramp up, you can go.
Yeah.
Um, okay, Lisa, as a very popular coach with Circle of Success, very popular mentor, what would you say are, the one, two, three biggest challenges writers who may be stuck, writers who just aren't where they want to be yet?
Yeah.
What do you see, and what advice do you give them?
So I think the number one challenge is not doing enough marketing,
Hmm.
right? And that shows up in, maybe sending out like 2 LinkedIn connections in a week instead of 20, right?
Right,
Like, or it shows up in, I didn't get that LinkedIn post posted last week, but I'll post one this week. Like the excuses, and I've done them, so I'm not denigrating that at all.
right.
I think the advice that I usually give people is, um, uh, a few, like a kind of combination of, keep your why in mind. Why are you doing this, right? You're not doing this to check a box. You're
Right.
doing this because you're trying to build your business.
Yes.
So if you don't market yourself, you don't build your business, right? And you want this business. So if you really want this business, there are things you have to do.
Yes.
And it depends on the person. Sometimes gamifying the marketing works for
Hmm.
somebody. Sometimes accountability works, where I have them send me an email at the end of every week to say, these are all the things that I
Right.
did.
Good.
Sometimes it's a once a week meeting where live, they have to tell me, I did this, I didn't do this, right? It really depends on who it is, but consistent marketing is, I would say, the biggest
Yeah.
reason people get stuck.
True.
Um, Probably the second reason is, um, sort of a bright shiny object. So I want this niche. No, I want this niche. No, I think I'm going to do this. Now I'm going to try this. So not locking down a direction to build their business to begin with.
Right.
So I
At
think
least to start.
yes, and I think I and all the mentors basically have a very similar message, which is, pick something and make progress on something.
Yes.
And then once you decide whether you like that or not, you can tweak it, change directions, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I think, um, there's a thing in coaching that we talk to people about. You're climbing the mountain and you can't see the peak, right? And so you decide here, oh, I got to turn around because I'm never going to get there,
Just
right? And you're like just that far from
right.
the peak, right? So I think that's what happens with people, is they're like, oh, this niche isn't working. It's taking too long or whatever. And what they don't see is they're this close,
Right. Right.
right? So I think grit
And it's
and
a numbers game. It's a
it's a
numbers game.
numbers game. Hmm. And then the third thing that gets people stuck is um, not wanting to leverage their network. So
Yes.
kind of, um, saying, I want to go a new direction, which is fine. You can go a new direction, but but you're going to have far more success when you tap on the people that you know and the people that they know.
Yes.
And once you feel that success, then you can go in so many different directions,
Sure.
right? But it's just getting over that first hurdle,
Yes.
is the big thing. And your network is so good at being able to do that for you.
Yes. And people want to help. People want to,
help.
especially if, if starting a new business or something, people want to help and be part of that. So I think that's great advice. I think it rings true for people, and even people that are further along. It's a good refresher to hear. Keep the marketing going, stay focused, and everybody, you're a copywriter. Tap into your network. Let people help you expand your business. So I think that's great. So thank you, Lisa. Last question. What is something you're excited about right now, either in your coaching and branding world, or just in your life in general?
Well, I'm actually working on a certification with Jack Canfield to become a Jack Canfield certified trainer.
Oh,
So I'm so excited because he combines sort of the business stuff I like with the woo-woo kind of mental stuff that I like. And it's working in corporations where I have a huge amount of comfort level.
That's
with
such a perfect fit for you.
I am so excited about it. I should finish the certification before the end of the year. And
congratulations.
I'm super excited about that.
Well, let us know, and we'll let the AWAI membership know all about it. So that's great. Lisa, thank you so much for all you do for our members. It's so wonderful how you always are paying it forward, how you're so generous with your time and your wisdom and the experience that you're still learning as you go. So I really appreciate it. And I appreciate your time today. So thank you so much.
Thank you for asking me.
All right. Bye. Bye, everybody.